Yo, what is up guys? Why can't we back again continuing what if Deku was the reincarnation of Yoriichi from Demon Slayer. Sorry for not uploading yesterday, I just never really had much time to record and upload yesterday. So I decided to do it today. And if you guys haven't realized, I got a well, I would say avatar change for my profile. And the YouTube banner, so yeah. Without further ado, let's just hop into this what if. Cue the intro.
I got your attention, spending that moolah, 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 moolah. I'm a drop poppin', pocket swolla, 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 swolla. Swolla, 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 swolla. Swolla, 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 swolla. Swolla, 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 swolla. Swolla, 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 swolla.
Last time, Class 1A had gone to a trip to the USJ where they were met by the Hero 13. And well, things started to change as a villain, well, the League of Villains had attacked. During this attack, they had a giant monster with them, which Midoriya had referred to a demon. And though Shigaraki did refer to it as Nomu, Midoriya had said that that was no monster, that was a demon. All Might would call Midoriya in to know more about this incident and what that thing was. Midoriya would begin to tell him about his eyes. He would say that he doesn't see the world simply like a normal person. He sees it as transparent. If you read the manga, you will understand. Well, the manga of Demon Slayer, you will understand. All Might would get quite confused, but begin to slowly understand. Midoriya would say when he saw the giant monster, well, the Nomu, that thing was known, whatever it was, there was a demon. And which would quite confuse All Might. All Might would begin to say, so it's like those demons in the book I read. And Midoriya would simply say, yes, I suppose. And All Might would decide to do a bit more research on that book that he had. He would go on to tell Midoriya about the Demon Lord Muzan, and it would activate a memory in Midoriya that he has never felt before, and it would bring down a chill down Midoriya's spine. For the first time, Midoriya was actually scared. This would come to shock All Might. Usually Midoriya has no emotion at all. All Might would ask Midoriya if he had ever heard about this name, and Midoriya say, no, but I feel like I have. All Might would try to dig deeper into this and check through Midoriya's heritage, but through no avail he wouldn't find anything. All Might would simply tell Midoriya to head over back to his class. He would look more into this. Midoriya will get the news that there'll be a sports festival from Bakugo. And well, Bakugo simply tells him to train, because I'm not going to lose to him. So Midoriya will smile and say, our goal of becoming the hero is near. Bakugo would smile and say, yeah. Oh, and also, I need to talk with you for a bit. Meet me after school. And Midoriya would simply know what Bakugo wants to talk about. After school, Midoriya would find Bakugo, and Bakugo would ask, how did you get strong? And Midoriya would simply reply, with training, which would kind of anger Bakugo and say, no playing around, how did you get strong? And while Midoriya would say, to be honest, I don't know. It's something that's just in my head. that I should do it. And Bakugo would go to continue. There's something else other than that. Your speed and that has also increased. Not only that, your strength. I heard what you did what you did on the entrance exam. And Midoriya would go on to say that I have a quirk now, Bakugo, but it isn't mine. It was given to me by someone, which would shock Bakugo and quite confuse him. Bakugo would ignore it and say, well, even if you have a quirk or not, or even if you're strong, I'm gonna be the #1 hero, putting a bit of jealousy in Bakugo. Well, not really, kind of a little bit of jealousy. That week, they would spend training all that time. Everyone's training would probably be normal, but for Midoriya's, he would be training on his sword techniques and trying to get a bit more grasp of One for All. The day of the sports festival will begin, and it's quite packed from what it seems. Obviously, the first thing they do is the race, and well, the winner would be Midoriya. First off, the race would be quite normal, but Midoriya wouldn't rush in. With the speed that he had, with being able to use the sword style and One for All, Midoriya would instantly pass through everyone in the blink of an eye. And within a few minutes, well, at least 1 minute, Midoriya would be at the end, while everyone is still running. So that's a small explanation. Now for the cavalry race, or whatever it's called, to get the highest points. Midoriya's team would, well, him being first, Midoriya wouldn't really care about what happened. Uraraka would come up to Midoriya and ask him to be to be teaming with each other. And I would say the team would be normal with Tokiyami, Uraraka, and Hatsume, and Midoriya. And Midoriya would this time be at the bottom instead of the top. Instead of being Team Midoriya, it would simply be Team Uraraka. And so, well, it would begin, and with the help of Midoriya and his speed, he's actually able to protect a few points from getting snatched from Uraraka. Heck, he's even able to snatch a few points for himself. The 1 million points is actually kept safe, and well, they end up becoming first in this one instead of coming out fourth, which is glad to Uraraka and Tokiyami. And Midoriya doesn't seem really that much surprised. Bakugo, angry that he never get first, will simply say that he's just gonna have to beat the crap out of Midoriya. For these fights, well, the fight with Midoriya and Shinzo would happen quite different, because Midoriya doesn't know much of Shinzo. Shinzo would ask Midoriya a question, which Midoriya wouldn't answer. President Mike would tell them to start the battle, and in a blink of an eye, Midoriya would hit him with the neck, with a small little chop, leaving him unconscious, which would surprise everyone in the whole stadium. One single hit, President Mike would say. Aizawa has trained a monster. Is while teaching a monster, it seems. This would surprise Bakugo and, well, surprise everyone else. The rest of the fights would be the same. Ida would obviously still leaving Tokiyami to win. And for Midoriya and Todoroki, this fight would go a bit different. Todoroki would ask Midoriya to say, your quirk with the sword, it seems. You have a control of fire, as it seems, as I saw what you did to that monster. Midoriya would say, it isn't a quirk. It's something I have from birth. Which Todoroki would confuse him a bit and say, yes, that is a quirk, isn't it? And Midoriya would say, enough playing around. And President Mike would yell, fight! And Todoroki would start using his ice, obviously, and Midoriya would successfully dodge it. And, well, Midoriya would simply use, nearby icicles as swords since he doesn't have his sword in this. And he would be able to successfully do it. And Midoriya would try his best to trigger Todoroki. He would begin to say, "The son of Endeavor, start using your fire quirk," which would quite anger Todoroki. Todoroki would still use his ice, and Midoriya would simply destroy them and dodge them. And Midoriya would try his best to trigger his fire side, and well, to no avail. That's when Midoriya would say, simply, "It's your quirk, not his." Not in the same way, but like, he would kind of say it like that, like a normal, you know. Which would obviously trigger Todoroki's fire side, and would force Todoroki to use his fire side. And Todoroki would thank Midoriya, and Todoroki would go on for one final attack. And it would be quite a bit bigger than last time, since Midoriya is far stronger. And well, Cementos and Midnight would try their best to stop the attack, but well, to no avail. It was quite strong. A huge gush of wind and a lot of smoke. After the smoke clears, it seems that Todoroki has been completely knocked out, and Midoriya with one scratch. The scratch was his first, as he's never been injured ever in his life. And Bakugo looking closely at Midoriya would simply smile. And Bakugo would be excited to finally fight Midoriya. Midoriya and Bakugo's fight would begin. Both walking up onto the ring after it's been fixed from the fight with Midoriya and Todoroki. Bakugo is finally glad that he's able to finally fight Midoriya, and would tell him not to hold back, and Midoriya would tell him the same. Bakugo would be quite tactical, and during all these fights has been examining Midoriya. Midoriya wouldn't talk much, and his speed is quite insane. Bakugo would smile and charge in for an attack. And Midoriya would simply dodge it, and Bakugo would expect this, and quickly turn to hit Midoriya with another attack, which Midoriya wouldn't expect. Midoriya would have finally gotten an injury for the first time. Midoriya would smile, as he's never felt pain as bad as this. Their fight would be quite insane, moving incredibly fast. Midoriya using a little percent of one for all, and Bakugo being able to somehow match that strength of one for all. In the story, Bakugo would be a bit stronger due to him training at a young age, and would be able to match up with Midoriya. After seeing Midoriya defeat those two kids when they were children, Bakugo would change his quirk to become stronger and stronger. Bakugo's explosions would be 2 times bigger than the normal anime. Bakugo would start using his AP shots, which Midoriya would simply be able to dodge. And well, Midoriya would simply try to take a stance of using a sword, remembering that he doesn't have one. Bakugo would simply laugh and say, "You don't have a sword anymore." And Midoriya would say, "Third form, clear blue sky," and would simply jump in the sky and hit a 360 slash with his hand. Yes, Midoriya would use his hand as a sword. And Bakugo would try to block it, and Midoriya would instantly be stopped by Midnight, causing him to fall asleep. This would leave Midoriya the winner, and Bakugo would also fall unconscious. So Midoriya would be first, whilst Bakugo would be second, and well, Tokiyami would be third. And yeah, so that's the sports festival. Sorry for not uploading this part yesterday. As I said in the beginning, I never had much time. Also, make sure to join the Discord server and the Reddit. You can post some memes there. talk to me, chat, you know, usual Reddit and Discord stuff. Also, consider subscribing. It's free. You can always unsubscribe later. And well, yeah, peace out.